40-30. Match point.
Nintendo sports games have played a key role in the company's success, with games like Wii Sports selling over 80 million copies alone and introducing audiences to motion controls. Sports video games have long been a part of Nintendo's history, with titles released as early as 1983. The NES saw the first ever Nintendo-developed sports game, simply titled Baseball, led by Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto, who personally wanted a baseball game for it. As a popular sport in the US and Japan, Nintendo saw it as an important inclusion to the NES launch lineup in order to appeal to a wider audience. The game was a hit in both countries, but it wasn't until 1987 that we saw the first sports game with Mario. NES Open Tournament Golf, or Mario Open Golf as it's known in Japan, featured Mario, Luigi, and even Donkey Kong in their first official sport outing. While baseball aimed to simulate the sport as best as the NES could, Mario Open Golf swung for a more casual approach with some familiar faces. Although it wasn't a Mario sports game like we know today, it did prove to be successful for Nintendo to continue including Mario and friends in sporting events for over 3 decades.
How long has he been in there?
20 minutes.
Tell him we're gonna play through.
All right.
We got plenty of time.
Donkey Kong, one of 14 Nintendo characters teamed up in Mario Golf, only on N64.
Some fans would say that the first true Mario sports game started with Mario Golf. Developed by Camelot and released in 1999 on the Nintendo 64, Mario Golf was the first of several sports games developed by them for Nintendo consoles. This is where we started to see the elements that define a Mario sports game, like special moves, items, and of course, the Mario charm. After Mario Golf, there was Mario Tennis in 2000. Namco then stepped in to make Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube in 2005. The same year that saw the first Mario Baseball game also introduced the first Mario Soccer, or football, game to audiences. Super Mario Strikers was the first Mario sports game based on a sport that I actually liked. It played how I imagined a Mario soccer game would play, a fast-paced version of the sport that stripped of all the things that slow it down like fouls, but with a little bit of Mario to mix it up. Like most of the core Mario sports games, Strikers focuses on arcade-styled gameplay along with the use of items like red shells and bananas. Adding to the chaos was how it allowed players to tackle each other for control of the ball. Normally, tackles are risky because it can result in a foul, but here there's no holding back. Tackles will send opponents flying and the play continues as you dodge other players and explosions on the pitch. The mayhem intensifies when players line up a super strike shot that when done right is a guaranteed goal and counts as double. Hitting one of these can change control of the match and is satisfying when you rocket the goalie into the back of the net. Strikers didn't offer too much outside of its great gameplay in terms of content, but a lot of the replayability came from multiplayer matches with friends.
We would like to play.
Blast fire. Grow huge. Do whatever it takes to win. Mario Strikers Charge, only for Wii.
When it came to the Wii Sports series was a runaway success, but that didn't stop Nintendo from releasing more Mario sports games. Besides a re-release of Mario Power Tennis, only 2 new core Mario sports games were released. There was Mario Strikers Charge in 2007 and Mario Super Sluggers in 2008. Mario Strikers Charged had some gameplay changes and the controls are different, but it's still the same amount of chaos. There are more options with new challenges, characters, stadiums, and the Mega Strike shot. Instead of 2 goals, players can now score up to 6 and have the opportunity to block an opponent's shot by using the Wiimote. All this does get repetitive and ultimately slows the game down. Blocking the shots is just as satisfying as shooting them. The character roster has been increased with new captains and sidekicks for more team options. Captains now have their own ability item while sidekicks get their own unique charge shot. All of the original stadiums return and there are new ones with more hazards. As for game modes, it's still the typical offering of single matches and tournaments. There are a few challenges to complete for unlockable cheats like safe mega strikes and super captains, but these are just more matches with objectives. While Mario Strikers Charged is a good follow-up with more content, I personally prefer the first game. The gameplay is smoother and feels faster overall without the game having to stop to block mega strike shots every so often. But seeing how Super Mario Strikers can be expensive like most GameCube games, Mario Strikers Charged is a good start if you still have a Wii.
Well, we're all very excited, Mario. Please give us the big news.
Well, I'm proud to say... Hey, what's the matter for you?
Hey, come on!
When it comes to video game mascots, Mario and Sonic are two of the most popular video game characters in the world. Mario is easily recognizable, and Sonic has had a great run at the box office. The two had gone head-to-head for decades before they ever appeared in the same video game. While Sonic did join the fight in Super Smash Bros. Brawl in 2008, Sonic and Mario started their own new sports series in 2007. Given that this was announced on March 28th, it could have been fake, but it was no joke. Mario and Sonic finally appeared in a game together, but it wasn't what people imagined. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was the start of a new sports series that actually did better than anyone had expected. The series was a massive success with over 10 million copies sold on the Wii and DS, which led to several sequels. Developed by Sega, the first game was the official game of the 2008 Summer Olympic Games. Whereas other Mario sports games took the sport and added the Mario charm, here you don't really see all of the elements that make it a traditional Mario sports game. There's no special moves or items in the main events. Here it's just Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. One major difference is that this is a mini game collection. There are over 20 events to partake in, but some are similar. The controls immediately stand out as soon as the events start. Events like track will have you waggle the controls up and down to speed up. The swim events have different swimming strokes depending on your character. Ski requires aiming at the screen with the Wiimote, and other events like trampoline need a few button inputs. The controls aren't overly complicated, but they're also not as fun as they should be and remind me why you should always wear the wrist strap. Some events are clearly better than others, but there's a fair amount of replayability in attempting to break new records. Participating in the competition is a cast of characters from both Mario and Sonic games. Mario mainstays like Luigi and Peach are here. For the Sonic side, there's Knuckles and Tails. Without these characters, the game wouldn't be as charming, so it's nice to see a selection from both sides.
In lane 6, Vector. That's me!
Rounding out the game, there's single match for quick play, circuit for competitions, missions with objectives, and the gallery with Olympic trivia. Even with its flaws, the fact that they made a game with Mario and Sonic, let alone one at the Olympics, is enough to give it a try. The recognizable characters do carry the experience, but it's still a monumental achievement to have these two big names in the same game. Complaints like controls and event variety were addressed in later games, which made the series a suitable party game. While it wasn't the crossover people had in mind, Mario and Sonic stuck the landing in Beijing 2008 and continued all the way to Tokyo 2020.
It's the Mario Sports Mix, and what time is it?
Why, it's time for the Super Top 3!
Proud of yourself?
Yes, I am. Let's go to the action.
After Super Mario Strikers, the other sport that I always wanted to see get the Mario treatment was basketball. We had gotten a glimpse of what that would be like with NBA Street Volume 3 in 2005, which guest starred Mario and friends. It was a nice novelty, but it wasn't a Mario sports game. Coincidentally, there was a Mario basketball game released the following year in 2006 on the Nintendo DS. Developed by Square Enix of Final Fantasy fame, Mario Hoops 3-on-3 was a good idea, but I wanted a Mario basketball game on a console that didn't use touchscreen controls. It wasn't until 2010 that Square Enix returned again with another Mario sports game. Released on the Wii, Mario Sports Mix was the first Mario sports game to feature more than one sport. There's volleyball, basketball, hockey, dodgeball, and a few mini games to play after you're done balling up your friends. Now, unlike the first Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game, this is a Mario sports game with all the items, locations, special moves, and the arcade gameplay. Also, unlike that game, the controls here are simple and are the same for all 4 sports, which require you to waggle the Wiimote for most actions. To shoot the basketball, you waggle the Wiimote. To shoot the hockey puck, you waggle the Wiimote, and so on. The controls make it easy to pick up and play, but it lacks the same level of depth of the core Mario sports games. Because this time the main gimmick was 4 sports in one game, they don't fully feel fleshed out, but it doesn't stop them from being fun. Looking at the sports, volleyball was the one that I had the most fun with in multiplayer. This one actually felt like there was cooperation involved between players, unlike the other sports where you can go off and score by yourself. Here, there's a level of interaction required to set up the ball and spike it over the net away from the opponent's reach. Of course, you have the usual Mario sports items like shells to stun opponents, and you can pick up coins to add to your score. There's also unique hazards in each stage that can be a disadvantage or an advantage. Basketball was the sport that I had the most expectations for after the DS game. I wanted a game where I could do big dunks and shoot some hoops in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's what we get here for the most part, a straightforward version of basketball. It's usually a high-scoring sport, and with the Mario sports touch, it's a good pair with some flair. Out of all the sports in the mix, basketball seemed like the one to most likely get its own series, but I'm surprised we haven't seen one yet. Hockey is another sport that I can see getting the full Mario Sports treatment. Together with basketball, these two seem like the closest to a Mario Sports game in the mix. They both play well and have enough of the over-the-top Mario Sports action. It also has one little detail that I didn't really see in the other sports. You can get into scuffles with opponents and fight for the puck. These are the types of details that I wanted to see in all sports, but there weren't many. Dodgeball was my least favorite the first time around. I gave it a second chance, and after a couple of salty runbacks, I can see how it's one of the most intense games in the mix. For the most part, you can just waggle the Wiimote in the other sports to score, but here you have to actually anticipate your opponent's moves to win. Overall, some of these sports games might not be the best, but they've proven that they can be fun for everyone. Even if you're not the biggest sports fanatic, they can still be enjoyable and are a great way to play sports at home with friends or some familiar faces.